1, 2, 3.
And her encouragement for the team is, I know it hurts right now, but it may pay off in the long run. Also remember, it's okay to ask for help for anything. Your mental and physical health is most important. Let's hear all the students on campus hear this crowd.
No, your eyes aren't deceiving you. That's a crowd of students, parents, and community members tightly packed together to watch a non-revenue sport.
Keep it loud!
LMU women's swimming held their very last home meet in January of 2024, drawing in a massive crowd of onlookers. So, what prompted such a big turnout?
LMU announced today the university will be cutting 6 of its sports programs at the end of the season.
The school says there are several factors that contributed to the decision.
All I could feel was hurt, like I had been backstabbed.
A lot of kids go to the colleges they go to for athletic programs. They say they were even more upset by the way it was handled.
LMU dropped a major bombshell earlier that month, announcing the discontinuation of 6 sports teams, including men's cross country, men's track and field, men's rowing, women's track and field, and women's swimming. The decision impacted 115 student athletes and brought LMU down from being tied for having the most sports teams in the West Coast Conference to now having the least. Athletes having their sports cut were informed of their program's discontinuation a mere 30 minutes before the decision was announced to the general public, prompting anger, shock, disbelief, and a wide array of emotions from the LMU public.
One of the greatest days of my life was being, accepted onto the team. I called the coach and he said, you know what, you'll have a roster spot next year. And that was like the greatest day of my life, like senior year of high school, when I got that spot. Cutting 6 of these sports, 6 of these diverse sports, that's over a quarter of the sports we have here. That's a massive step backwards.
When I'm going to weights after this, like I told you, I'm gonna look at the LMU and be pissed off about it. It's so frustrating because my time here as an athlete was so exceptional and I had so much fun and I was so proud to be a Lion, but now it's I see that and I wear my gear around campus and I just want to take it off. I don't feel proud to be associated with this organization anymore because they made this horrible decision. So I'm getting weirdly emotional about it. I'm not emotional about it anymore, but it's just I don't know.
Soon after the announcement, a grassroots effort to reinstate all 6 cut teams took hold of campus, coined Save the 6.
Anyone who thinks that they can just cut 6 of our high-performing sports without any repercussions is absolutely delusional. Our athletic director has provided us athletes, us 118 athletes, with no fair warning whatsoever. No fair warning when he dropped this decision. He dropped this decision conveniently for him after the tuition refund deadline.
Yeah.
After the early decision deadline. And after most other colleges and universities already have the rosters full. But guess what? He told us to transfer. He said transfer. He told us transfer. Greg Pinsons, our athletic director, when making this decision, was not thinking about the university.
No.
He did not have the best interest of the community at heart.
No.
And he most certainly did not have the best interest of us students here at LMU.
No.
Among the many criticisms rose the following question: how could the changes in college athletics that were supposed to help athletes cause a school to abandon them? Well, we come to find out that not all sports are created equal.
The lights were kept on at most of these institutions because of college football. It's the simple reality of the situation. Once you separate college football from the rest of the pack, and there is a big margin between basketball and football. It's not close. Football is driving everything, and it's allowing some of these other student athletes, whether it's the kids that run track or play baseball or softball, to be able to do the things that they want to do.
If football is driving everything, what does that mean for a mid-major athletic program in a school like LMU, a school that hasn't had a football team since Truman was in office? This past January, LMU effectively said the quiet part out loud. With the possibility of revenue sharing taking center stage, there's simply not enough money to pay everyone. Because of this, non-revenue sports are becoming an endangered species, and the cause is in the name. Non-revenue means non-priority for some institutions, and LMU made its priorities abundantly clear by cutting the 6.
LMU feels a lot
more cold and corporate now to me than it did beforehand. It's always felt like kind of this warm, open, inviting space. They talk about education of the whole person because they're cutting cross country. I feel like they're not really holding true to those values.
Big screen, Drew Timmy down the lane. Shot up, blocked by Graham, he's got it. They run it down in the corner, Strother's 3 is short, and LMU's come on the road and defeated Gonzaga for the first time since 1991.
Recent proposals to revolutionize college sports undoubtedly provoked LMU's decision. One such proposal gained significant media attention in December 2023 when the NCAA suggested the creation of a new subdivision for top athletic programs, whereby participating schools will be required to pay at least half of their athletes at least $30,000 a year in direct payment. Could LMU be gearing up to gain entry into such a subdivision, given that its athletic program now contains 115 fewer student athletes to factor into financial compensation?
We're trying to be proactive. Whatever the highest subdivision of Division I for non-football schools ends up being, that's the subdivision that LMU wants to be a part of.
What comes next is anyone's guess. At least at LMU, the tremors of professionalization have created an unprecedented divide between the 6 castaway sports teams and the 14 that remain. Because LMU is a mid-major athletic program without a football team, men's basketball is the primary revenue driver. And the most recent financial data tells us that men's basketball generates LMU more money than the rest of the men's sports teams combined. Spending for men's basketball dwarfs other programs as well, across both men's and women's sports, in keeping with national trends. We are seeing the early foundations laid for a permanent caste system in college athletics. The big dogs at the top, basketball and football especially, will profit. The non-revenue sports at the bottom, though, not so much.
I'm for getting to the end of this because I think we all know where this is going to end, which is it's pretty clear in the revenue sports. It's going to end in revenue. That is also, though, fraught with so many other implications for so many other sports. We have to be very cautious of going all the way there, because if we're going to do revenue sharing in every sport, if the revenue is 0, the player's share is going to be 0.
In other words, there are going to be a few winners and many, many losers.
Amateurism is dead and has been for a long time.
It's money, right? And I think it is greed at its highest form.